What's up everybody, my name's Keith and welcome to The Simple Miner. Today I'm going to show you guys how to build an RX 6600 mining rig. We will be using Hive OS, that is the mining operating system which we can actually mine cryptocurrencies. I do have two GPUs currently hooked up, but for learning purposes I will be removing them from the rig and then hooking up three more, so a total of 5 GPUs today, okay? Full financial disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Crypto market is very volatile, so please make sure you do your own due diligence and research. And again, this is not any kind of financial advice whatsoever. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so there's obviously multiple ways on how to get started. This is my personal preference. You guys are more than welcome to do it in your own way. But first, I like to go to the Hive website, which I'll put in the description below. Once you get there, you're going to scroll down. You will see an option under the GPU selection that says torrent or zip. You'll click that file to download it. I've actually already downloaded it to my computer. You'll also want to get a flashing utility program. I like to use Balena Etcher, and this one will take you to a different one, I believe, but your preference. I'll put the link in the description below for Balena Etcher as well. But if you were to use that, you would just pretty much go there, select the operating system which you need to download it for, and install the program. I do recommend, I have a Mac, and I downloaded the Mac operating system, or I just pretty much flashed it on Mac, and it gave me an issue when I tried to actually put it on my solid state drive. So I just recommend doing it from Windows. I have like another PC that I use to do this stuff, and it's just easier because Macs are a little more difficult to use. But once you download it to your desktop, you're going to go ahead and open up your flashing utility, and you can see on the desktop we have the Hive OS file as well. So give that a second to open. Oh, there we go. And you're going to select flash from file. Once that opens, you'll go ahead and select the Hive OS file that you downloaded, and then just click open. And then what you're going to do is just hit select target. You can click the one on top. You just want to make sure that that drive's selected and it's obviously the correct drive. If you do have anything on that drive prior, it will erase it. So once you're done with that, you just hit select. I believe it will ask for your password after selecting flash. Let's see if it does. Yes, so there you go. It'll pretty much ask for your computer password to authorize you doing this. Once it's done, it'll flash that operating system onto your solid state drive or even your USB drive, whichever one you're using. So either or it works, as long as you just make sure if you have a USB drive, it has enough space for the program. I think a 16 or 32 gigabyte would be more than enough. And that's it. You see it starts to flash. It'll take a little time, so we'll come back once that's completed. Alright, so that's completely done flashing. You can see that Hive OS is now installed onto the solid state drive. We're going to go back to our browser. We're going to go ahead and go to the Hive website again. This is the login screen. You can actually, if you have an account, log in. If not, you're going to go ahead and select register. You'll enter your email, create a login and a password. I also will provide a promo code in the description below that should give you a discount for using my promo code. But for me, I already have a login, so I'm just going to go ahead and log in. If you have a two-factor authentication app, I recommend setting it up. It's just more security for yourself. I never select Remember Me, and I don't have passwords remembered in my browser, and that's just my personal preference. So we'll click Not Now, get rid of that. I already have a rig that I disconnected or turned offline just so we can do this for teaching purposes. But on the top right, to add a brand new rig, you're going to press the little plus there. And you're going to name your rig. So you can literally, or your farm, I'm sorry. You can name it home farm, garage farm, whatever you want. In this particular circumstance, we'll just do test farm. Leave everything else highlighted, hit save. Now you've created your farm. You'll select that. It's going to take it to this next screen where you can add your wallet, your flight sheet, do your overclocks. There's a couple other things you can do here, like update the software. You can refresh if things don't look right to you. But yeah, let's give that a second to load. It's taking a little longer to load. Let's see. Let's try clicking through these things and see if that helps it. You know, another thing I would say is when you do, or when we set up flight sheets, just for, you can use Hive as the pool, but they do charge you a little fee, and in my experience, it's a little more expensive. Here, so now you're going to click Add Rig. Since we've already downloaded Hive OS, you're going to go ahead and select Connect Existing. And once you do that, it's going to give you a rig ID and password. You don't really need that. I've never used it. You'll click on Settings. You see Rig Config. You'll click that to download, move it to your desktop. That's going to be all the information that your operating system needs to identify this rig. Now, in the name, you can actually remove that and name it whatever you want. I just like to name it whatever the GPUs I'm using are. So I believe I'm just, so RX 6600. And then just click Update Worker, and then that'll save that. But that's pretty much getting your, and now it'll say RX 6600 under your test farm because that's the rig that's on there. So now you'll just you'll double click and open this right here where it says worker name. This is where you can name your rig whatever you want, and when you are mining, it'll recognize the name of the rig on the pool, so you know it's specifically your rig. So you want to go and change that wherever you want. We'll do test rig. Once you're done, it'll save. You drag and drop. Now, like I said earlier, I won't be able to put it in here because since I did it on a Mac operating system, this is the Linux operating system, they're not compatible. So it's not allowing me to drop it. But if you did it on a Windows system, you would be able to drop it in there, and then you have your rig config and ready. It's all ready to go. So we're just going to head back to our main screen here. There we go. Not now. No, sorry, not that one. Oh, yes. So this is where you add your wallet. So you're going to go ahead and press the wallet tab, select plus wallet. You're going to select the coin for that wallet. I'm going to be using Atomic Wallet. You guys can use Exodus. You can use a cold storage, whatever you want. And then I like to name whatever it is. So we'll see Atomic Wallet. You put in your address, hit create or save. Now you have your wallet. We're going to go over to flight sheets. And this is pretty much just telling the rig what to mine, where it's supposed to go, everything you're going to be using. So you're going to go to your coin. For this purpose, we'll select Ethereum, so ETH. The wallet, we just added Atomic Wallet. So you'll do the drop down, and you'll see all your wallets in here, at least if they're ETH wallets. Your pool, I've used Hive, I've used a couple different pools. I really like 2Miners. So, and you'd only use solo only if you have a really high hash rate. Once you select 2Miners, you're going to go ahead and select US, and then you'll hit apply. You don't have to worry about that SSL URLs on top. Once that's there, you're going to select your miner. This is the program that allows you to actual mine. I like Team Red Miner. That's a really good one from AMD GPUs. If you have NVIDIA, that's going to be, I think you can use Gminer. There's a couple different ones. Usually for the flight sheet, I like to name it like the coin and then the rig identification. So like RX 6600 or something like that. You can leave it blank. You can name it whatever you want. So it's really up to you. You can add the wallet. You can add the coin. You can add the miner that you're using. But I believe it actually shows you most of that information already. So it's not necessary. Once you're done, you hit create flight sheet. And now you have a flight sheet. And this is what you're going to assign your rig to mine. So they're going to follow those instructions. The address it's going to, the pool you're going to use, and then also the mining software, which is Team Red Miner in this circumstance. So, but anyways, this is my my worker, my actual home farm. So that's what I named mine. So it's kind of the same exact thing. You can see it's offline. The other one's offline as well, but it actually shows 2 GPUs because they were hooked up at one point. So yeah. That's pretty much how to set up a home farm, or a farm within Hive OS. Alright, so we have all of our GPUs here. These 2 GPUs are from the previous rig. These three ones are new, so we have a total of 5 GPUs. We have our PCI risers along with the cables. If you come on over here, I'm just going to give you a breakdown of what the rig pretty much consists of. So you have your power supply unit that's obviously plugged into the wall, providing power to all the components on this board. You have your motherboard, that's this big box if you can't see it. Here's your CPU, along with your RAM. On this back side is going to be all your connection ports. So you have your Ethernet, your USB, your VGA, whatever's needed. If you need a monitor, USB, whatever.
Like I showed you guys earlier, if you do decide to use a USB flash drive, you're going to plug it into a USB drive, and the motherboard will recognize that operating system and function off the USB drive. I personally like to use a SSD or solid state drive, which is shown here. It's just a bigger storage capacity. I think it looks cooler, and it's just my preference. But the only difference with this one is that this actually connects to the power supply, so you have to run one of these pins in here, and then they all should come with a SATA cable, and you'll just run that SATA cable over here and plug it directly into the motherboard. Friendly tip, just make sure all of your connections are plugged in tight. If they're not, there can be a short, you can damage the stuff, or it just won't work. So just make sure that everything's in there correctly. As temperatures rise, I am going to plug in these fans. I'm not too concerned about doing that now because it's actually pretty cold. But I was actually just going to plug those directly into the PSU. So that's pretty much it in regards to the hardware here. The largest one is going to be your main power to the motherboard. It's a 24 pin. For my CPU, this one actually requires a 4 pin. These do come in like 8 and 6, but they have like little grooves on them, so you can actually slide them off and make sure that they adjust to whatever your components need. I will put a link in the description below. I did get this motherboard at miningcave.com. They actually set everything up. They put the CPU on, they put the RAM in, and they actually programmed the BIOS. Initially when I purchased this, I wasn't too comfortable setting up the BIOS. I just wanted something else kind of plug and play, and that's what they can offer. So I will be making a video in the next couple weeks. I do feel comfortable enough to change the BIOS and now actually buy a cheaper motherboard and get everything set up and not necessarily have to pay for their services. But it is a great service if you guys just want to get started. So what we're going to do here is, ideally, you're going to grab your graphics card. This is your PCI riser or GPU riser. And you want to make sure they're lined up correctly. So you can see there's two grooves, and there's a small one, a large one. And you just want to push them in. And that's it. These things are actually connected. And all we're going to do is run, we're going to run a USB cable into this side. And then this is actually going to go into the motherboard right over here. Now please make sure that you plug these in correctly as well too. If you plug these in backwards or do them incorrectly and turn your motherboard on, you can fry the board. So please be careful with that. And then it also requires a power. It does require power. So all you need to do is just grab one of these cords here, and we're going to connect everything in here like it's required. And that's pretty much it. One side note I forgot to mention off on this side here is actually these come with a little power supply or power button. This is very standard. You can buy a cool one if you want to, but I think it looks cool like it is. And just make sure it's plugged in correctly. There's a couple pins here. If you have any questions, you just need to double check your motherboard manual, and it'll tell you exactly how to plug that in. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get the first one connected just so we can make sure it's communicating with the operating system. And yeah, we'll do that in 1, 2, 3. Sheesh! Pretty much going to be my little mining operation for now, or my little station. I did want to show you guys a couple things. I do have a Ethernet port here. It's connected to a wireless mesh that I have in my house. So that mesh will connect to my Wi-Fi. I'm running an Ethernet cord all the way to this thing to give it to give it internet. And then from here, I can actually plug in 3 different devices. So this thing's actually running to the back of the mining rig. I did go ahead and mount the GPU here. Everything's turned off. I just wanted to show you guys what I like to do is to power it on to make sure it works. Here's a little power supply. So we have power to the rig. We're gonna come on over here. Now this is our Hive operating system. So what we're gonna do is go into our farm. We'll give it a couple minutes to refresh and see if it can actually pick up the motherboard and everything. We're gonna go to worker, select our worker, and see, there it is. There it is. So you got your motherboard, you have your CPU, it even shows you the solid state drive and everything. So this thing's good to go. What we're gonna do is hook up the first GPU and make sure it reads it, and if that reads it, then we'll just move forward with the next 4. So we're gonna do that in 1, 2, 3. Sheesh!
Alright, so you guys, we are in the Hive dashboard now. We have the one GPU hooked up. We're going to click the refresh button. you can see that it now shows that we have our Radeon RX 6600 Sapphire visible. So it gives you some information. You can see the temperature, the core and memory temperature. It shows you the wattage. It's not currently mining right now. But yeah, let's get the other 5 hooked up and see if they are visible.
Alright guys, so we got everything hooked up. As you can see here, I'll do some cable management later, but we got all the PCIe cables connected to the risers, connected to the motherboard on this side. Everything is connected through the PSU, or the power supply unit. So I'm ready to power this bad boy on. It looks super dope. 5 GPUs. Hopefully there's going to be no smoke. And then, yeah, we'll check Hive OS to see if it picks up the graphics cards. So let's go ahead and try it. Turn this thing on first, actually. So let's see. We got lights on all the graphics cards. I see some fan movement. It's a good sign. Cool. Let's check out Hive OS.
Alright, so we're back into our interface on Hive. You can see that it says 95 watts. That's usually just like typical power consumption for the motherboard and components while it's idle. You can see that it says 2 GPUs. So what we want to do is head into our farm. So you're going to click that box. Once you get into your farm, you'll see that the GPU number actually changed from 2 to 5, which is great. Once that's done loading, we're going to go ahead and go to the top there. Give me 1 second. There we go. Select RX 6600, and now you can see, boom, all 5 of our GPUs are there. So now we want to go to our flight sheet, and it'll tell you there's an exclamation there because there's no flight sheet assigned. You're going to select it, and for this one, I actually have a different flight sheet. It's eZill, which allows you to mine Ethereum for 59 minutes and ZIL for 1 minute. But anyways, whatever your flight sheet is, you're going to go over to that little rocket, and boom, select to the moon, and that's it. You've now assigned a flight sheet for your rig to start mining. So you're going to go back to your overview. A lot of good information here. You have your fan usage, the temperatures of your core and memory. You also can see how many watts each GPU is consuming, and it will eventually show you your hash rate. You can see at the top that there's 5 temperatures, which is good. That means that the pool is identified that you have 5 rigs set up, or they're trying to send them hash rates and stuff like that. So we'll refresh until we can see the hash rate on the left side. It does take a minute or two to build up, but let's go ahead and see now. Refresh. Let's see. Oh, and then that kind of gives you like the standard hash rate. So that is pretty consistent. Go and refresh. There it is. So right now it's showing about 10 mega hash per second per each GPU. With these GPUs specifically, they're pretty cheap compared to others, but you can get about almost 29 mega hash per second. So we just got to give that time to warm up. You can actually see my overclocks on the right side that actually work really well. And I'll show them at the end of the video as well. So this way you guys have a reference. But yeah, let's see if we can show that it's mining at 28 or 29 mega hash per second. Let's give that a second to catch up. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So look, you can see it, 28.95, 28.95, 28.94. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, so I did want to head over to the eZill website in a second. It'll be the same thing if you're using 2 miners or anything like that. It just allows you to put in your address in a little search bar, and we'll get there in a moment. But and this way you can actually look at your rig stats. So you'll see here as we click over to eZill, you'll be able to see the overview, which is going to give you your current hash rate. You can see the balance, what you've mined. You can see in this case the ZIL you've mined, also your 24 average, your reported average. If you go back to your rig, your reported and your hash rate within Hive OS should be pretty similar. You can see there that it says it's inactive, probably because it's mining ZIL. Let's see here. Yep. See, so it sees right here 144.7. That's consistent with that. That's pretty much it, guys. This is a picture of my overclocks that you guys can use if you're using AMD 6600s. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my video. If you have any questions, just go ahead and drop them in the comment. If you like the video and you want to see more content, just hit that subscribe button and let me know. I do plan on putting a couple other videos out. Bear with me. I promise I'll get better at this. This is my first video. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening, and you guys take care of yourself. And mine on, my friends.